Alrighty. Okay, last one of these for the year. Last plan one for the year. There may be times where I might have to jump on and say something or do something. But this is the last plan one for the year. So, to review quickly, we have gone through all of these modules. I finished with Fundamentals of Programming Advanced. I finished with that last week. So you should be working on this bank of assignments. None of them are overly long. Some of them can be a little bit challenging. I've seen a few students struggle with a few of them with the Moore circles, the overhead pyramids, things like that. Remember, I'm not the best solution to every problem in these assignments is always going to be information that I've taught you. You're not going to have to do something that I have never taught you. The few times where I add something into a task or a problem that requires a piece of code that I didn't directly teach you, I put that piece of code in the assignment, like for the import option. I told you, you're going to need this, or for the type keyword, I said that in there in the assignment. You're going to need this piece of code. This is what it does. All right, so don't try and don't go too far or overthink it. The assignments are all based on what I can do, what you can do from what I taught you. So don't go too far away from what I've taught. Okay. Once we finish that, we move on to this. Now, I'm sure lots of your English classes, you've had your final essay given to you in class, time for that in-class assignment provided to you. Because a good essay that's going to take a lot of time can't be done in 2 hours. They take longer than that. In terms of a final program in computer science is the same thing. 2 hours is not enough time for you to show me everything that you've learned and that I've covered throughout the year. So I introduced the final program early, and then I expect that the final program is complete prior to the CFDs starting. And trust me on this one, you want the CFDs to be free and clear of any other major assignments. You absolutely do not want to be working on your final Python project during the week of finals or the 3 days of finals. You want to have that finished. So I'm going to tell you that you need to work on that now. All right? Have that clean and finished and all done the day's final starts, so it's not a worry that you have to go through trying to get things done. Okay, I have a video explaining this. This is almost identical to your Scratch proficiency assignment in terms of what you're going to do. The important thing here, and lots of you, as I mark your Python assignments, are skipping your comments. And comments are one way that I tell whether or not you've copied the code from somebody else. So if I have a particular student who I'm saying, put your comments in, and then they refuse to put comments in, what you're telling me is, I don't understand how to do this, but the person who gives me these assignment answers, they do. So at the point where I'm at right now, the further forward I go into these assignments and they have 0 comments, sooner or later I'm just going to say, no, I'm not accepting this until you comment it so that I know that you understand what's happening. Okay? So that's the big important part. And lots of you for your proficiency assignment for Scratch, I said the most important part of this is you put comments in telling me where you used each component. And some of you just left the comments blank. Or you put comments in, but you didn't say where you used the different components. So this is the important part. Uses the skills you have learned over the semester. So I want a program that does that. To make it easy on yourself, so that I can see that you did use all that stuff, put the comment in saying, hey Baron, here's a loop. Hey Baron, here's a while loop. Hey Baron, here's a conditional. Put those comments in so that I can see them so you have a better chance of getting the marks you deserve for it. Okay, I don't want to stifle your creativity, but I do want to give you a bit of a theme because I find that students sometimes struggle to come up with a theme. So here's the guidelines. Create a game or any type of interface that an elementary school student could use to learn or practice a skill from their age level. So something that they would learn in their schooling, whatever grade you want to pick. It could be grade 1 as far as I'm concerned. Create a game that does that for them. Okay? The program can focus on any subject, but most of the time students in my class will go with math. So they'll make a math game for elementary school students. When you do this, this happens. When you add this correctly, you get this reward. Okay, that kind of thing. Include the aspects and skills learned in the Python 3 Lessons of Computer Science 20. Now this is just the regular fundamentals of programming. It's not the turtle. Okay, turtle we have a separate final for, which I've already introduced that to you. But when you look through here, we have fundamentals of programming. This was the introduction to Python. And then we have fundamentals advanced. We have a proficiency assignment for turtle right here. All right? So you don't have to include turtle in this one. If you want to include turtle in that one, you can do that. But you don't have to. Okay? It's totally up to you. Okay? So don't think that this has to include a bunch of stuff from turtle. All I want is information from this module. Every other module is evaluated through the CFD, so you don't have to spend time worrying about those other sections. It's just this module that I'm worried about. Okay? Include comments that identify where you've incorporated elements from each lesson. So that's on top of the normal comments that you would put in. All right? We just don't comment enough overall. I think I've had one time this year where I've had a student that I said, okay, you over-commented this. Just once. Okay? And I don't take any marks off for it. I'd much rather you over-comment than under-comment. You need to put top comments in. That's one place you have to put comments. The second place you have to put comments is every major code block. So for example, the operations assignment where you had to do 5 multiplication, 5 subtraction, 5 addition, 5 division. And then you had to do modulus for all of those. The strong commenting on that task would be the top comments, and then a comment that says, here's my variables I'm going to use. And then another comment that says, these are the multiplication operations. Another one that says, these are the division operations. And then at the bottom you would, and then for multiplication and subtraction as well, and then at the bottom you would have one that says, these are my modulus calculations. That's well commented in my books. Okay, so that has to transfer to this as well. So you will have your regular comments, top comments, then you'll have comments explaining what's happening in your code, plus you're going to have the comments that identify the elements of the module that we went through. So you're going to have comments that show all of the lessons from in here. Whoops, this is the wrong one. That's the introduction. This one. Okay, so module 1.1. So on this lesson, character input, you're going to have a comment. String variables. Hey, Baron, here's a string variable. Integers and floats. Baron, these are my integers. These are my floats. That commenting is going to be in that lesson, this assignment as well. Okay? The research component of this project will revolve around the discovery of a new process or code within your program. Spend some time researching something different we didn't cover in our lesson and use that in your code. Comment that. I'm going to look through your code as close as I can, but if it doesn't jump out at me, you might lose marks. If you have, I read all the comments in the programs, all of them. If you put a comment that it says, hey, Baron, this is my research component, this is what I researched. This is the code that I used in my research. Put it in there so you don't accidentally lose out on the marks, okay? And this is the last part, and this is the one that will take a little bit more time than the others. Use Screencast-O-Matic to notate your final project code explaining the use and function of all major elements. So Screencast-O-Matic is one option, okay? That's one option. If you have something better, feel free to use whatever that was, all right? What it does is just captures your screen. It allows you to use your internal mic on your computer or an external mic, and you go through your code and you make a little video. Now, I know all of you have tuned into my lessons at home. I know you have, because it would be insanity to not tune into a teacher's lesson when you're at home. Now, this is what that looks like. Okay, this is a screencast. Yeah, I'm fixing it right now. I don't know why yours is not working. Can you just back up closer to my desk here? Just so you can see over there? Because yours is not working. I don't know why. Just don't crowd around each other. Just get to a point where you can see that. Okay. All right. This looks weird because I've created an infinite loop through my camera and the screen that I'm showing. This is a Screencast-O-Matic. It's got my picture in the corner. All right, so I know it's me talking. And I am notating through my code. Now pretend this was my code window and not just the OBS window. Okay? OSB? OBS? OBS. Okay? Pretend my code is in here. This is what I would do. And all of you have seen me do this because you've watched my live lessons. I put my code here and I talk about it. Now I need you to do that. There's a learning curve here for sure because maybe you've never screen captured before. All right? Maybe you've never done that. That's okay. I give you lots of time to complete this. I think the programming in this would take 3 to 5 hours. To figure out how to notate it and screencast it would maybe be another hour. I'm giving you well past that. Well past that in time. All right? This component must be included or I don't accept the final assignment. You get a 0. All right? This has to be included. Now, this is awkward to look at. I'm going to move off. But when you use your Screencast-O-Matic, you have to have these elements included. Your picture has to be on the screen. Your voice has to be on the screen. And you have to be notating what's happening in your code. All right? You don't need to run your code and show it to me. You need to just go through the actual text of your code and say, this part is for this part does this part does that. Explain each of them. All right? Now, once you've got that video, once you have that video, you're going to upload that video to YouTube, and you're going to, as an unlisted video, all right, all you need is a Gmail password or Gmail account to upload it to YouTube. Upload that video to YouTube and share the link to me. Don't attach a gigantic video to the Moodle assignment. It just bogs everything down. All right? Upload it to YouTube. If you have to make a fake Gmail account for one day, do that. Upload it as unlisted. That way no one else can see it unless you give them the link. You give me the link. I delete the link after I'm done watching it. Then you can go up and delete the video. All right? This is a requirement for you to show me that you have actually done your own work this term and you know how to code. So you have to explain each piece of the code as you go through this. And I also often have students come to me and say, oh, I don't have a computer that can do that. You can borrow one from the school. All right? During a spare, during whatever time it is, during your lunch, whatever it is, all of the computers in the library have a camera on them. All right? So you can use one of those computers to make that happen. If you're absolutely stuck, you can come and see me. I can give you class time, and I'll get the computer for you. They have internal mics. All of the laptops have internal mics and internal cameras. So you can include all this information into your final project. Okay? It is an absolute necessity. Like I said, if this is not included, I will not accept the final project. You will receive a 0. And that's like 15% of your final grade, because I believe your CFD is 20% of your final grade, and 15% of that goes to this final project. All right? So I cannot stress enough how important this final piece is to this project. It has to be included. If you have an idea that doesn't fit with the elementary school game, and you want to go for it, Good, great, do it. I'll greenlight anything for the most part. I just want to know that you're doing something different. Just send me a message, say, Baron, I want to do this instead, and I'll most likely say yes. The important thing is that it takes the time to do it. I don't want you to say, I'm going to create a Hello World assignment, and that's going to be my final project. I'm going to say no, okay? Once you've completed your program, make sure it's submitted to the Rappellate final project assignment on the Rappellate site. And that's here. I'm going to embed this pretty quick so that it's embedded for you to work on it there. Any questions about the final project on Teams or on in face-to-face here? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have an actual final quiz?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that next. Any questions on the final research project specifically? Okay. Now, the second part of this is our actual CFD, what we'll be doing the day of our final. And it appears to have disappeared. Give me 1 second. I'm unsure why that's happening. Okay. Here is, all of you won't be able to see that. I hope you're not able to see it because it's closed to you. Maybe you can see it, but you can't open it. It's not available until February 4th, 2021, which is past. So you won't be able to see it. So I'll change these dates the day of the final so you'll be able to access it. This is the review that I put in. It reviews each section and what you have to know. Remember, I've taken out the fundamentals of programming. There's not going to be anything on that. Well, there'll be a quick quiz. I'll tell you right now. The portion of that that's in this final exam is the exact same questions you've already done in the quizzes. I take all of those questions from that quiz and I put it on the final. So to study, you can just redo all those quizzes. If you know the answers, then you're good for the questions that'll be on the final. I'll have a scratch thing that you have to do in there. I'll probably have something for you to talk about algorithms and decomposition and all of that content. None of it will be based on memorization. None of it. I don't care if you memorize anything. You will have to apply the skills that I've taught you and show me that you know how they work. So any lesson is open for you to open during the final. Google is open during the final. Anything is available to you during the final because the way I've set up the questions, it's about you proving to me that you know how to do it, not looking up a knowledge and comprehension based question. Okay, so I review that in there. Here's the actual final. And this piece I add at the end. It's just something that is mostly fun. If you have extra time, do it. If you don't, you don't have to. It's completely voluntary. Use whatever software you want to create a meme relating to computer science or things that happen in Mr. Barron's class. I don't really want my picture used. And if you're just going to be rude and mean, like say, Mr. Barron's got a huge chin. I don't care. I don't need that. I've been insulted by better way longer. I don't want to deal with it here. What I'm looking for is things to just not be hurtful. There's some examples up there on the wall. I don't know if you've ever read them, but they're up on the bulletin board in the classroom. You can take a look at them. And here's my example of what I've done. Okay? It's just a simple computer science meme. Again, completely for fun. Something that I could use to show other students. And it's kind of funny. And someday I'll put them up around the classroom. That's the entire goal of this. And again, this is just if you have extra time, feel free to do it. If you have something that's really funny and you want to, go ahead. That is Computer Science 20. All right? From this point going forward, you're working to get all of this content completed. So I'm not going to do scheduled lessons. Every once in a while, I might jump in and do something. But for the most part, I'm not I'm not going to schedule anything. Okay? Last chance. Any questions on Teams or face-to-face? I'm losing my voice for some reason, and I don't know why. Alrighty. Keep working. Get yourself caught up. We're coming into the end of the term now. and this gets to the point where you'll be really tempted to steal programs from someone else. I will know if you do that, and I'm not going to mess around with that at this point in the term. If you submit something somebody else already submitted,